have never been done before.
We the people tell the government what to do. It doesn't tell us. We the people are the driver. The government is the car. And we decide where it should go and by what route to do. We the people are free. And I hope we have once again reminded people that man is not free unless government is limited.
Well, g'day, folks. How are you tonight? I hope you are having a very decent kind of a Friday. It's been one of those sorts of days for me, in and out of the bus, doing different bits and pieces. But luckily, some of those bits and pieces involved you guys, especially those of you who have purchased. Oh, he says I should have had one ready earlier, but let me just reach around behind me and grab one. For those of you who have purchased one of these beautiful Voice of Freedom Byron Bay packs. These are the hand-painted by Vince versions. I have a few of the newer versions, which actually come in a very nice plastic thing too. These are, as you'll see, I'll take these out so you can see. I was explaining this to Vince a little earlier. The Silver Fox got together with Vince, and this is Vince's version, which you can see is pretty spectacular, although the head bit of me up the top there is too hard to colour in. This is not hand-painted by Vince. This is hand-painted by me, and that's why it looks so shit. So this is the one I use to show you. It won't go to anybody. But, oops. But this one, he says, comes from Silver Fox. And you can see it's got a bit more dynamicness to it, but it's a little lighter in colour than this one. So just thought I'd show you. So I have chewed through the vast majority of these that have arrived. We've had a couple of orders in the last couple of days that I've gone out to. So Keith, yours went out today. Christine, thank you. Yours went out today. Deb, the lovely Deb, shippers, I didn't get your address until after I'd been to the post office, and I'm sorry yours won't go out till Monday, but I have them all wrapped up. They look absolutely spectacular. Sunflower, yours hit the road today. I was going to deliver yours in person, but I figure I'd get them to you faster if I put them in the mail, because I don't know when I'm going to get to the Sunshine Coast yet. It's all still all over the place. But rest assured, yours, and there's something a little special in yours too, because you are, after all, someone very special. I think you were our first moderator, followed closely by Aussie Sue and Michelle, I think a day or three later. But so you're our first moderator. You've been such a wonderful friend to me and such a wonderful support to not only me, but others in the Voice of Freedom family. And I think I'm not going to overstate things too much when I think Sandy would like to express her gratitude to you as well. You and Rick and your family have been wonderful to us. So I've slipped in something that is a little bit special for you. And I hope you enjoy that. One Eye, haven't sent yours off yet, simply because you want to be pedantic. You want one of everything. So that's great. Love to give you 4 of them. However, I've only got sort of the 2 at the moment to get. We don't have the 3rd version yet, which is coming from Pete from Pinaroo and his young bloke Will. Now, we were showing Will the other day. He was out doing marvellous things with his shears. They took a whole heap of wool and turned that into money. So good luck to them. But I did see that they are printing some of the new holders from there. And I don't know whether this gold leaf thing is happening or whether it's just a golden kind of print that's going to happen in it. But at any rate, Pete, let us know. You might be able to put something up in the chat. And from Pinaroo this morning, I would like you to meet Pete from Pinaroo's newest family member. And I say family in a sort of, offhanded cattle kind of way. This little one was born at 9 a.m. this morning, very cute, and already has a name, Stew, as in S-T-E-W. Yeah. like all good farmers, name your cattle after cuts of meat, or what they could end up like. Makes it a lot easier for the kids to accept it too, down the track when the time comes. And of course, living on the farm, he breeds cattle for just that very purpose. So, but yeah, another one to the fold this morning. So congratulations, buddy. I'm glad that went well for you. Don't forget, folks, we have, I think, little under 500 tickets left to go in this lottery draw. We're giving away $750. Very keen to see if you would like to take it. And I'll bring in the waving wonder, because he is the, oh, look at this, more of them coming. He is the key to all of these wonderful lottery payments, because he's the man with the key to the bank. So we're going to give away more silver in this one too, aren't we, from memory?
Yeah. I don't know if we can afford to do it, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure we can afford to do it either. We might have to rethink that.
Silver just went through the roof again. Come on.
Yeah, well, I'm just keeping an eye on it. I've been throwing a few predictions up. Last night, I saw the price jump to $69. It was very nearly $69.50 at one stage, or it was $69.50 at one stage, and I thought, then it started to drop back a little bit. I thought by this morning it would be, well, it dropped back to under 68 again overnight. By this morning, I thought it would be back up to 69. As it turns out, I might have got up a bit late. Somebody in the chat I saw earlier posted that it went to $70.50 and then dropped back. I didn't see it break $70, but I think it will later tonight. And the price that at ainsleyBullion.com.au right now is $68.92, and it's on the upward trend. The gold silver index, which is the one we really want to be interested in, the last time we looked at it the other night was 85 point something. It's now 83.3. So that number is steadily dropping. The lower it gets, the more worth your silver is going to be. And sadly, the larger the cost it will be for us to fill these wonderful little things. So, and we have to pay for them basically on the day that we fill the order. So we don't have and never have had enough money to stockpile huge amounts of these things. So so we pay for them at the price of the day. So if you place an order, as a couple of people did today, you get the price of what it was today. And that's simply, it works out that, particularly in the last few days, every dollar that it goes up is a dollar that we don't see at the other end. But we never went into this, did we, buddy, to try and make money out of it? It was more a bit of a novelty thing. But at the moment, you know, these things cost money to print. I don't know that you've figured out exactly how much it is yet, but we're going to need to replace a few of the consumables, I would have thought, namely the blue stuff, and whatever gets hot might burn out. And we've got people working all over the country for us, so we're going to try and help them out too. So you might see, folks, that these if you want one of these, just so we can cover ourselves, I think the last ones today went out at $125. We're going to need to put them up to $130. And Vince, you probably want to tell me we're going to need to put it up to more than that. But it's entirely dependent on what the price of silver is on the day. And hopefully it'll all drop down again. You get them for nothing. But that won't make our stack very happy. So let's say not hopefully. That's not going to happen. But
you've got to ask the question, with silver jumping like it is right now, and I know it's suppressed, but it's jumping a lot right now. It's gone up like $5 over the last week or so, isn't it? Basically.
Yep.
So that's hence the reason why it just went to 130 for anybody who's placing an order. But it makes you question, why is there such a demand? Is there something happening that we don't know about that some other people do?
Well, I'm told that there is a huge amount happening. There is a lot going on in the markets in America at the moment. You're just going to drop out and have a bit of a cough. No worries. There's a lot going on in the American markets at the moment, and the silver suppression that has been going on for years is now almost at breaking point, where those who've got to cover the shorting that they've done on the silver market with actual cash, buy back that debt, don't have the money to do it. Why is that? Because a lot of the cash has been actually taken out of the system by the white hats over the last 8 years, let's call it, since Trump got into power in 2016, and I would argue kept power right through the Biden era. And there has been something little interesting that has been shown in the last few days. I don't know if many of you have seen it. I'm just trying to see if I know I uploaded it somewhere. I'm just trying to see if am I even looking in the, no, I'm probably not even looking in the right kind of file. Let me have a look at that. That'll make it a bit easier. There has been a magnificent thing that Trump has done in the White House, and that is there is a presidential walk where there are portraits of all the presidents, and it's in somewhere in the White House. It all looks very funny. Now, whether this is a real thing or not, I hesitate to tell you. But if this is real, it's bloody hilarious. Just have a look at this. So there you have it. All these presidents dating back, same frame, same everything. Bill Clinton. There's old George W. There's the first treasonous thing. Donald Trump. That there, that's where Biden should be, but that's an auto pen. Now that's been posted up as Donald Trump is shading Biden by putting that up on the presidential walk of fame, they call it, in the White House. Just a picture of his auto pen. I don't mind that. I think that's a wee bit funny. All right, no, I was going to play something else there, but I won't, because we'll save that up for the end of the show. So yeah, folks, if you are interested, Carl at vofhq.com, $130, I think we're saying now, aren't we, Vince?
Yep.
$130 each, and Vince is going to send me more, as you can see, next week. So it'll take a few days for them to get to me, and I have.
Don't forget, guys, while he's busily looking around the back trying to figure out his maths. I know he's not brilliant with his maths, but don't forget, if you've got any questions, throw them up into the live stream. I know it's a free Friday free for some, so feel free to throw something up in there if you need to. We're all happy to get diverted off what we've actually planned for the night.
So I have about 120 of them still available. So 10 per thing, that means 12. I have to have a talk to I'll have to have a talk to Skipper Pete and find out whether or not he is keen to hang out and wait until we can give him one of each sort of flavor, or he wants me to send his off soonest. But at the moment, I have 120, so that makes it 12 of these that I can fill with half the amount of these that I can use. So I can fill 6 immediately. Does that sound good? And when Vince sends me the rest of his, and I think Silver Fox might be putting some more together, is he? So they'll come through too, hopefully in the next week or so. So we'll be able to fill any more. But ideal Christmas present, something that will grow over time, and it may grow a little quicker than we all anticipated. It seems to be at the moment. So God love them.
Specifically numbered, specially signed by the superstar himself.
Oh God!
So
there's no superstar,
right? And if that's the case, if you don't want to deal with the superstar, then please deal with the lottery for the Donkey Sanctuary. Get in there,
absolutely.
Get those tickets.
I just thought you were going to say they could deal with you. You know, now that you're clean shaven, respectable looking.
Yeah, I told you I lost my wisdom when I did that, so don't expect anything brilliant from me tonight. But yeah.
All right, so here's something we can have a quick chat about. Trump now thinks that Ukraine can win back all the territory taken by Russia. I have a question. Will the real Donald Trump step forward?
Yeah, I don't think that was from him, honestly. Fake. I would call it fake.
There is a fair bit of this crap going on, although he is, for whatever reason, seems to be not being helpful in the Russia conversation at the moment, is the easiest way of putting that. But I think he is distancing himself because Russia want Ukraine to capitulate. NATO don't want Ukraine to capitulate. And Ukraine, well, as we'll see in the near future, they have a whole different idea about what they want to do. So, yeah. Coming up on the 19th of October is our next March for Australia events. Now, last time round, it was all getting pretty excitable, and we'll talk more about the March for Australia. Great new poster they've got up, by the way. I just think that's an absolute ball terror of a poster.
Nice picture.
One of the things that we'll be discussing there is, things about immigration. Now, there are 1,000 in immigration detention, while 100,000 fake refugee illegals are roaming free around the country. One of those in Brisbane is this guy. Now, he's a Fijian Indian who worked in a childcare centre in Brisbane and raped a 4-year-old girl. Now, this is a case that's been dragging on for 3 years. He's been out. He was inside initially. He's out on bail at this point. He's just been allowed to get on a plane and leave Australia before his trial.
Oh, saves us money.
Well, as you might think, but how do you think the family of the 4-year-old girl feels?
Not good at all. No, I agree with you.
I think it would be an absolutely horrifying thing for the family to try and deal with. And therefore, since this has come out, concerns have been raised. And guess what the Australian Immigration Department wants to do now?
Tell me.
They want to go down and track him down and deport him back here.
Good luck on that.
So he can face trial.
Do we have extradition treaties with where he's from?
Well, we do have a treaty to a point, I think, with India. Fiji, this is a Fijian Indian, so he could go either way. And in Fiji, I'm not completely sure whether we have an extradition treaty there or not, or a prisoner exchange agreement. We seem to be sending a lot of illegal immigrant detainees to Nauru at the moment. The Nauruan government have picked up, I think it's something like a $400 million deal to take on, I think it's 100, might be a few more, illegal detainees and stick them on Nauru. Now, I went to school with a couple of Nauruan lads, wonderful, wonderful football players, and hard, tough as nuts. You might remember that Nauru, during the height of the Gillard Crud years, had a detention centre that foisted upon them by the government. And they sent a whole heap of rather violent detainees over to Nauru. Now, those detainees decided to kick up a stink one night. It was a night none of them will ever forget, because Nauru, as I said, is not a very big country. When I say not very big, I mean we're talking tens of square kilometres. It's made out of bird shit, essentially, superphosphate. They've mined it for years, and the place outside of the main cities is pretty much of a moonscape. So every Nauruan from far and wide came when called, because the detainees had decided to riot in the detention centre. So the local Nauruans turned up and quelled the riot rather quickly. I think that's, and I have heard stories about the backgrounding of that I can't tell you about, but my God, don't go to Nauru and mess or disrespect the Nauruans on their own territory is what I would suggest to you. Wonder if Dan Andrews will actually face any investigation over the bike boys. Yeah, so do we.
My guess is not.
Yeah, they're going to try and run that, I think, for as long as possible so that the term of limitations or whatever it is comes into effect.
Statute of limitations. Yeah.
Statute of limitations, yeah. So I think that's what they will be trying to do. And I'm not sure what that is or if it has been subverted, because I think Dan Andrews, there is a legal proceeding against him for this. So he'll be trying to fight that in various different ways. I guess if he was able to succeed in blocking that in some way, then the statute of limitations might run out. And the kid, well, it's not that he gets away with nothing. It's he was given some money after this whole thing occurred, allegedly by Dan Andrews or his wife, as a sort of a settlement to stay quiet and we're very sorry and piss off, go away. Now, I've heard that money ranges anywhere between $15,000 and $80,000, and the family were given I think it was a month-long, or it's alleged they were given a month-long or a fairly long trip into Queensland to help recover once Junior had got back up on his feet again. Now, I don't know how true that is, but there was these sorts of offers apparently running around. So he now wants to tell his story. He has told his story. It's being suppressed. One of the main media organisations, I think, have done a bit of a story on it, but they're not allowed to tell the whole thing. So we'll see where that goes. I'm thinking we've been a long time before we start seeing any serious arrests here in Australia, as there's too much corruption throughout. Yes, I think arrests in Australia.
Yeah.
Well, I think if we're and we will see them, I'm sure, but you're right, might be a while. We're not going to see them before we start seeing them in America. When Fauci is formally arrested, I think he's been indicted, but when he's formally arrested and he goes to court, the advice that he gave and was followed by just about every health minister in the world is going to be questioned and proved to be obviously deceitful. So then the question in Australia will be, why did our health departments, why did our health ministers, why do those people who are tasked with protecting us from evil people like this in the pharmaceutical world, how is it that they missed all this, were too silly to see it, too stupid, too corrupt, too well paid off to stand up and identify exactly what was going on or just tell the truth? So I think shit falls downhill. It'll start with those at the top in America and it will snowball. So I'm sure that once we start seeing real arrests in America, the indictment of James Comey is, I think, probably... I think that's probably going to be the first. I think this is... I did have it here. This is a thing from Trump. I should have blown that up. I apologize. Justice in America, one of the worst human beings this country has ever been exposed to is James Comey, the former corrupt head of the FBI. Today, he was indicted by a grand jury on 2 felony counts for various illegal and unlawful acts. He's been so bad for our country for so long and is now at the beginning of being held responsible for his crimes against our great nation. Make America great again. So let's see Comey in cuffs, or will we see Comey in cuffs? Will Comey, if he's been indicted, front up with his lawyer and say, well, here I am? They, being the FBI, will afford him an interview, whatever, and probably let him go home. I don't think they're going to lock him up. They might be good if they did, be a great sign. So if you start seeing those quality of people, the shit ones that really started all the bullshit with Russia, you see them actually in cuffs and being perp walked, then you're going to hear this really wet sounding clacking noise, and that'll be the arseholes slamming shut on the health ministers, the government bureaucrats, and the prime ministers and presidents of countries around the world when they realize they're not protected. Because if Comey and others can be arrested and publicly arrested, then so can they. And it's coming. And there is so much dissent on the street now. I talked before, and we'll talk again, about this March for Australia. But this is but one march. I personally think Australians are going to get march fatigue. We're not really that kind of people who go out every weekend to pick up the flag for somebody else's cause. The March for Australia cause, for mine, has always seemed to be the most genuine, the most realistic, the most well-targeted and joyous event. If the first one is anything to go by, I mean, it was a joyous event for most people on the day. It was a great walk, beautiful day in just about every capital city and every town that it happened in. People came away from the event. They went and had lunch, or went to the pub and had a few beers in the afternoon, sat around, listened to music, played, went home, had a good night. It was a wonderful Australian celebration. And Beck Freedom has been dragged from pillar to post about her involvement in it, and her association or lack thereof, or whatever the story is this week, with the NSN. Now, she is by far doing the best job at creating something every Australian can get behind. And we're not talking about nationalist, socialist, Nazi ideas. We are just focused on the realities of life. Mass immigration. And that's what she seems to be focused on with this, rally of hers. We understand there are so many different cultures here in Australia, and we welcome them all. What we don't welcome is the absolute dilution of our Australian culture, our Australian custom. And we welcome everybody to come to this country, because it is and has been the greatest country on earth to live on, at least for as long as I've been alive. It can be and remain that way. It won't remain that way while we keep fuckwits like this in charge of the country. And if we get any people like that involved in whatever comes next, we are doomed once again. Politics and these sorts of politicians are never going to be our saviors, unfortunately. Never. So
appropriately you said that, because that's what just popped up.
No, yeah, well, no, politics is never a savior. They will always appease themselves, the rotten bastards, always appease themselves. So, should we be petitioning the Governor-General? Because coming up on the 11th of November, it'll be the 50-year anniversary of the sacking of the Whitlam government. Wouldn't it be prophetic? Wouldn't it be wonderful if Albo could be dragged from that place along with the rest of his cohort of criminals and corrupt bureaucrats this year? I don't know whether or not, because I'm not a big fan of petitions, I don't believe the current Governor-General, Samantha Mossop, I don't know, drunk at the head of the government. Well, she's not the head of the government. That's the thing. She's been appointed by the government. So she hasn't been elected.
So
she hasn't been selected.
A circular reference. Right.
Yeah,
so how are you going to get her to sack the very people who employed her and put her in the position in the first place? Not going to happen until we get enough people awake. So we need to step up. We need to be talking to people. We need to be getting that conversation. More and more people are getting fed up with the way it is today. And the March for Australia showed that, right? And as I said once before, right, take what you need out of the march, but be there, right? And if you don't agree with somebody who's speaking, don't listen. Wait for the next
the thing,
speaker.
yeah. I mean, start singing Australia. I've taken the little clip out now. I don't think I've got it here anymore. But start doing anything else. I mean, I guess if all else fails, you could call in some, particularly in Sydney, you could call in.
When you come to
recruits.
Sydney, mate, just know this is the Aussie Cossacks' backyard.
Yeah,
always up to help.
In the Russian embassy, anyway.
Congratulations to the Cossack. He's got his YouTube channel back.
Oh, I did.
I've got to look and see if I've got mine back. Because
that'll be interesting, yeah.
They did delete one of them completely.
Yeah.
So I can't remember what it was called. Maybe I'm just going to go and find an old computer and see if it'll open it up. But yeah, they did remove one of the channels completely. I'll be interested to see whether or not they put your put the content back up that was on the channel previously, if they've managed to save that. In Aussie Cossack's case, that'll be very beneficial, I would have thought. But we'll be interested to see what he does with that going forward.
Well, following his Telegram channel, I've sort of.
If it's just going to be a Russian propaganda channel, then it'll be of limited benefit to the Australian people. And it used to be a really good comedy channel, but he's not in a position to be funny anymore. So I don't know. Unless he's planning on doing topless workout videos, which seems to be his latest trend. And I'm only saying topless because I don't even want to think about him doing it naked. So
you had to. Did you have to put that into the minds of our viewers? Honestly, really.
Here, look. Here, a beautiful baby calf named Stew. There you go.
Yeah.
Something good to think about. Something good.
Well, I did like the lamb chops in the garlic patch comment earlier. I had to put that up as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just seeing what else I had here. I was going to flick up and have a bit of a chat about. I can't know what that one is. Oh, yeah, digital ID. Sorry.
Our favourite subject. Not.
Yeah. Digital ID is coming, folks. And despite the complaints, despite the fact that they've rammed this legislation through, despite the fact that not just the Australian people, but many of the politicians, in fact, I would go so far as to say every one of them who hasn't been bribed or corrupted by the evil side, have all objected tremendously against this. And yet it is still moving through, and in early December is expected to go through, meaning that come December 27, which I hear is the date the government is planning to introduce this. So it'll all come up in the lead up to Christmas, end of school.
As always.
School holidays, rush everything, got to buy everything for Christmas dinners, family going everywhere. You'll be rushing around doing everything, yada, 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 yada. You'll get to wherever you're going. You'll set your camps up. You'll park yourself. You'll have your turkey. You'll have your Christmas day. You'll have a great day, Boxing Day. The sales will be on. The girls will go to that. The boys will go to the pub, or they'll go to the creek fishing, or the river fishing, or the ocean fishing. And then on Monday, you'll want to post all those beautiful pictures up on the day after Boxing Day. And all of a sudden, you'll have to identify yourself. You'll have to prove. Yeah, you'll have to prove that you're not 16.
Yeah, that's
so it's only coming if you are willing to sign up for it, says Andrew.
Yeah. Now, I have to say that, it's totally voluntarily, it's safe and effective, but if you don't have it, you don't have a job.
Yes.
Right? Do we remember that particular saying? Right? Yeah, it's safe,
They
effective,
coerce
and you don't have to take it. But if you don't, you're not working for us anymore. Mind
Yeah.
you got to understand that the companies were being blackmailed by the government. But sorry, did I say black? No, sorry, wrong word. Not blackmail, extortion. No, sorry, that's wrong. Coercion. No, that's still illegal. I shouldn't say any of those words. Sorry.
You're
Anyway,
quite right.
it'll come. They'll do it. They will do it. All of a sudden, you won't be able to get your Medicare thing done right because they can't identify you.
Yeah.
Or you won't be able to get your unemployment benefits if you get them because they can't identify you.
Which reminds me, I've got to go and get a new Medicare card, apparently.
Good luck on that. I'm still waiting for my son's from 6 months ago.
Is this something you've actually got to turn up in an office and front up to do, or?
No, you can actually bring them and they'll send one out.
So I don't particularly like the idea, but for folks who might be interested, I've had my stitches out. That's my little cut. Don't know if you can see it, but anyway. So it's all looking very, very good. The doctor was terribly happy. And I told you I was a quick healer, but the X39 patches probably helped. So, stitches in for 7 days, essentially. And I could have taken them out myself. I couldn't really see to take them out. And I only got a sharp knife and a good pair of teeth. Don't even have a good pair of teeth anymore. So I just had a sharp knife to take them out with and a good pair of pliers. So I thought I'd better go to the quack anyway. So we sorted it. Thank you to all the nurses who've been telling me to look after it and how to look after it. I have been cleaning it with alcohol as required. So nothing's growing, no hair, nothing. The skin's falling off. I've made it so dry. It's going really well.
Don't get too carried away. That's not necessarily a good thing. But
no.
All right,
no.
Digital ID and the current policies that they're going to bring in for the under 16s. People need to be aware that really the only way, you're taking over. Okay. The only way that
yes, Deb, they do work on dogs.
Yeah.
Not a full one. Put your used one in the dog's bed.
Yeah.
Right? After you've worn it for 12 hours, stick it in the dog's bed.
Yeah. So getting back to the conversation, the only way that they're going to really be able to determine who's sitting on the other side of the keyboard is if they hack into the very thing that we're using right now to display our picture, right? Cameras and your microphone. Now, the wonderful American bitch, lady who is in charge of the E-Safety Commission, Karen, that's not her real name, she's already sort of specified that. That's what they're planning to do, right? In a loop roundabout way, because iPhones do use facial recognition, etc., and so on. So what do you do, guys? Well, here's what you have to do. You have to make sure that you're not around anywhere that you have a camera, like your TV or your phone or whatever else. And you need to make sure that all microphones and any webcams or stuff that you may have are blocked off or disconnected, right? Then they'll be forced to use things like handwriting analysis and all this sort of stuff. But expect there will be quite a few people who will get queried that, hey, you're not 16, but I am. Prove it. How do I prove it? Oh, you want a digital ID? Well, that will accept that, or we'll see your driver's license or a proof of age card or whatever else. That's how they start, and that's how it will continue. And as an IT person, I hate it completely, but it's going to come. So the only way to stop that is to get more and more and more and more people awake, get them out there, forming groups, getting out to the marches, right? Don't care who runs them. It's not the point. It's about saving our country. It's about saving our culture.
Yep. And eventually it's about taking action.
Yeah.
if the
Well-
first of those actions are being part of marches, like this one that's coming up on the 19th of October, the March for Australia, it'll be the second one, and there are more coming. I know that on that day, the Save Australia mob, who turns out to have some influence from the Aussie Cossack, from John, and a few other people. Then there is the mob, the Unite Australia mob, with, well, I was going to say Mary Jane and Co, but I don't think that they're running that. I don't think that they just stuck their hands up for that one event in Sydney, as far as I'm aware. But there is a loose organisation, this Unite Australia, Unite America, Unite whatever. But I'm told that's really just a private Telegram group with a few people who might have accents in it, discussing what they can do at these events. It's not really a formally organised thing, and maybe that's what we need. The problem, as I see it, and Vince, you and I have discussed this before, the problem that I see is that we have mixed messages at every stage.
Yep.
We might all be turning up for this March for Australia, but the messages on the stage, on each stage, is different. And that's bound to be the case because the people presenting on those stages are all different. So the people that present in Sydney don't present in Melbourne and vice versa, and none of them present in Brisbane and vice versa for Brisbane people. So a culmination of which was a great example of which, rather, was this last shit fight that happened, where we had the Unite Australia mob doing a pretty good job in most parts of Australia, managed to get reasonable numbers, but still small numbers compared to the numbers that turned out for the March for Australia 2 weeks beforehand. Those numbers eclipsed anything that we've seen in anything other than the Palestinian rally in Sydney in recent times. So then we've had John and Simeon crack the shits and try and set up in opposition with another stage and another sort of protest, if you like. We've had others do the same kind of thing in different cities around the country. We've had this distraction of the Nazis are coming. Now, the Nazis have been here. And I hate to tell you, they've been here since the end of the Second World War, right? Some of you might be too young to remember. Some of you might care to forget. But they arrested one in Perth a few years ago and sent him back to, what's the name of the prison they set up? Spandau? Sent him back to prison in Germany. So he was in his 90s. Died in prison, I think, from memory. Or at least died waiting to get out of prison. The best thing is to stop using social media. You're right, Crunch, because it's one of the best programming things. But where does that leave us, Vince? So,
yeah. I mean, how do we get the message out?
Yeah. Does that mean we now have to save up for a full service so that we can essentially save and store all our own video and put it out ourselves on our own website? Is that how this is going to have to be?
Yeah, but then if everybody's not using social media, how are they going to get to it? We are the people who bring in the news. We are the people who bring the opinions. We are the ones that counteract.
Well, instead of going to YouTube or to Rumble, they'd go to vofhq.com.
Oh, yeah. Right. And who's going to pay for the massive amount of server space that we require?
Right. So that's the question I was asking. Right.
Yeah.
So that's not a viable option then, you're saying?
I'm definitely saying that, yes.
Right. So what is our workaround? Or do we just go off the air for Christmas and thanks, everybody, it's been fun. So long, and thanks for all the fishes.
Well, I don't know the workaround, but I do know that the people that are leading the various areas and the various factions of this freedom group need to pull their friggin' head out of their ass and start looking at what's important here, and that is saving this country, not their own personal feelings or their own objections. If something doesn't track together, fine, get over it, because the important thing is saving the country. It's saving it for our kids, right? And it's the highest priority. And for all of those people who are in here who are busily complaining about the atrocities that are happening overseas in other countries, yes, I can understand you doing that, and that's fine. But don't disrespect our house. I'm really in this our house, my house thing at the moment. Ever since it popped into my head, when I have to think, I reckon God went, boom, our house, boy. This is how you're going to promote it. Our house, right? Australia is our house, right?
Yeah.
You don't like our house, go build your own house in your own country. Anyway, sorry.
Well, somebody else's. We don't mind. We don't mind. I mean, you can go to Nauru, build your own house.
Yep. That's fine.
It'll be a multi-story house.
People don't want to kick you about. Anyway, from what I just heard. But we need to get these people, just need to stop this. And look, if we can build enough numbers, and we can get enough numbers, and we continue going out and go on the offensive. And when I say on the offensive, I mean peacefully on the offensive with our words. Right? If we can go on the offensive and start waking more and more and more and more people up, and these marches help do that, we're going to get to the point where we're going to be able to call just what the good old commie wants, a national strike, where we stop the country.
I heard today that Alphabet are the owners of YouTube and Google, and
Right.
so I've heard that Alphabet are challenging the Australian government on all of this. I think Elon Musk is planning to do something the same for X. I imagine Zuckerberg will do the same for Facebook and Insta, Tweet, or whatever it is.
Yep. It's going to fall one of two ways. They're either going to sit quiet and do nothing, and then Karen is going to have to sue them, and then the shit hits the fan, or they come out first and sue her for liberties for states, other countries that do actually have free speech, unlike us here in Australia. While it might sound like we have free speech, you can visit me next week in jail. Be fine. Because we don't. We really do not have any legal legs to stand on. Right? If we make too much noise, we'll get taken down. Guarantee it. But that's fine, because I'm prepared to be taken down if it helps other people stand up.
So I'm looking at what there's suggestion here regarding strikes. And I know John's tried this strike idea before, and I'm not a fan for a variety of reasons. However,
I actually meant a national shutdown, as in not just a day, but everybody. It's a national. We shut the country down. We block the roads. We do what is necessary to shut the country down until they come to the table.
Yes.
Because remember, they work for us, right? Not the other way around. We are not their slaves.
So I think that's what it takes, a little bit of uncomfortableness for a day or three. And
more.
Well, yes, but it has to be ongoing, because I was talking to some people a couple of weeks ago. Oh, look, we'll all get around and we'll do a petrol strike one day, and then we'll do nobody will shop at Coles or Woolies the next day or whatever. And I said, it's a waste of time. Don't want to be part of it. These one-day strikes never work, because what they'll do is you'll be advertising the shit out of, don't buy petrol on Wednesday. Don't buy petrol on Wednesday. And the price of petrol will go up for the week beforehand or 2 weeks beforehand. And then on that Wednesday, they'll drop it down to some ridiculously low price. So everybody who said, yeah, I'm not going to buy petrol on Wednesday, says, oh, shit, it's $1.60 a litre. I've got to go and get petrol. And they'll go in and get it anyway. So it's just not a viable thing. What you want to do is stop the petrol tankers getting to the petrol stations. That'll make an impact.
Yeah. One of the
Yeah.
other things that would, you used to be able to, when you were paid in cash, etc., you used to be able to sort of hold off paying the government their tax. But now they've got the one tax system and it just comes out automatically. So even if your boss was willing to help you, you still can't, right? That they're rigging it all the time, more and more and more. But there are ways that we can do things. We can stop those, stop the petrol from getting there. We can, when they say, "Oh, you need to do this," and we say no. Well, we'll take you to court. Oh, good. Me and 45,000 other people. Let's see you do your court dates now, buddy boy. Everybody could stop getting road fines simply by taking them to court.
Yeah.
You think about that. If you've got 1,500 fines happening, say, in South Australia every day, and that's happening, right? If every one of those disputed that fine, how long do you think the courts would be open for?
Not long.
1 day, just 1 day. And if that happened the second day and the third day and the fourth day, we're now talking 6,000 people disputing a fine, and they've got to try and push them through the court.
Yeah.
Right. So there's one way of blocking up the system. Another way, and if every single government department, we could be set it up so that we start basically making their phones run hot, so that it never stops ringing, asking silly questions. Be not nice for the poor workers on the other end, but it can still be done.
There's an example of that having occurred. There's an example of that having occurred reasonably recently too, with the big passport screw up that there was in the system, and there was a huge backlog of passports that was in and around the COVID bullshit thing. I only know that because I knew somebody who was working in the passport office at the time, and it was an absolute shit fight. They were getting people in from different departments to work in these high security areas, and there were mistakes being made in passports galore. So people were paying to get their passports rushed through for this, that, or whatever reason, and they'd come back with their middle name missing or spelt incorrectly or the birthday wrong or any number of faults. And of course, anything like that, once it gets back to you and you look at it, you say, well, that's wrong. It's got to be sent back, torn up. Huge screw up. The lines were, tens of thousands of people long. So, yeah, the system, the bureaucratic system, doesn't work well if it's made to work hard. If it gets overloaded, it collapses.
Or they can just shut down their phones, as Silver Fox pointed out. That's what happened last time.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. Yeah, they just put them on do not disturb, and it goes on. Crunch had an idea of the trucking companies striking for 2 months or for 4 months or whatever.
Yep.
The problem with that is that the trucking companies owe the banks huge amounts of money. The trucking companies have fuel bills. They are funding the cost of new trucks, new trailers, tires, maintenance, everything. And they fund different yards. Each one of them funds a different yard in a different part of the country. They've all got these depots and they all pay fees and all that sort of stuff. So for them to say, all right, well, we're not going to work for 2 months, it would work well if the entire industry agreed. But the problem is that there are now sweeping into the industry a number of international, shall we say, type driving organizations that are buying Australian trucking companies because they come in with a lot of gold and are then commencing putting their own people to work in those trucking companies. And they are undercutting the other companies on the road to get the work. And when I say undercutting them, I believe they are undercutting them dramatically. So there is some questions being raised about exactly how much the drivers are being paid for a lot of the work that they are actually driving. Are they being paid an Australian Transport Workers Union driver's wage, or are they being paid in their home country's denomination and being paid what they might be getting paid, or twice what they might be getting paid if they were driving, the Kalamata track in India rather than the Hume Highway in Melbourne. That might mean instead of getting $18 a week, they're getting $36. So it's possible that many of these drivers on our roads are not being paid Australian wages. And as I've discussed before, many of them are not here for the long term. They are here to do as many trips as they can. And if they build up points against their license to a point where they lose their license, then they're simply put on a plane and sent home, and somebody else is brought out to, continue next week. And there are plenty of examples of that happening around the country, almost on a daily basis, sadly. Even today, I honestly don't know how this happened. I came across it maybe 4 or 5 minutes after it had happened, and it was just mind-boggling to me. There was a subcontinental family traveling in a very small Suzuki Swift. It looks to me like they've collected the back end of a trailer on a truck or something like that, with the front right-hand corner of the car. Didn't do a huge amount of damage, but it did push them well off the road and would have scared the big crappers out of them. The car, aside from a pretty banged up front right-hand corner, didn't look too bad. But these poor folks were stranded on the side of a road in the middle of, well, not quite in the middle of nowhere. They weren't too far from civilization. But the 2 cars that I saw that pulled over to help them were being shooed off. They didn't want their help. So I kept going. I drove back past there about half an hour later, and I've seen one of them standing at the front trying to pull the bumper bar, or what was left of the bumper bar, off this little Suzuki. They were planning on driving it and driving it on into town, which would have been 5 to 10 Ks. The reason I know that they were planning on driving it is because when I got into town, I pulled up beside the tow truck that was just about to leave the servo to go and pick them up. And I said, "Oh, you're going out to pick that little Suzuki up?" He said, "Yeah, apparently they've been trying to drive it into town, but it's not working real well." I said, "It'd be difficult. It's on 3 wheels." Yes. The front right-hand wheel, one there. So anyway, look, we can all have accidents.
Okay.
We just seem to be overrepresented at the moment with people who've come in from overseas. And it doesn't really matter where from overseas, although certain continents or subcontinents seem to be overrepresented in particularly the bad driving stakes. I have heard, I don't know the truth of it, I have heard that there is currently a review going on for national heavy vehicle licenses and the training organizations that are handing out particularly multi-combination licenses. So whether they've got people going through the system and learning the training or lack thereof at the moment or what, I don't know, but there is certainly action somewhere happening in the background, we hear. Please God.
I have a challenge for our listeners and for anybody who views this after the fact. Over the next week, before we get to the next Friday night free for all or whatever, how can we make our politicians very, very uncomfortable? I mean, the farmers did it in Ballarat or Bendigo or wherever it was, where they chased Albo out.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe there's a whole heap of things that we can do. Peaceful things, but make them very, very uncomfortable. So that I'm putting the challenge out there. I'm looking for ideas. Right, looking for ideas.
Well, I think we have to bring the country to a stop. And I think there are so many different ways that we can do that, but we have to be very prepared to stick by it and to support those people that man it, that do it.
Yeah.
All right. And that doesn't mean by just going out and waving and saying hi. That means going out and manning the ramparts for a while. Maybe spending a day or a night or a day and a night, because it will be important. And just remember the feeling that was engendered at Epic?
Oh, yeah, do I ever?
Right. Well, that kind of feeling could be engendered on the sides of roads around Australia.
Yep.
Close to home, wherever you are. That kind of feeling can be engendered anywhere you are, because all it takes is a show like this to link it all together.
Yep. Right, and it's all right. Carl won't get too big ahead, I'm sure of it. So,
what am I getting a big head about?
Nothing, about linking together. I mean, you're not there to do it for you're doing it for the country. You're doing it for the right reason.
Oh,
and that's
I'm not suggesting it has to be my show to do it on. Just it needs to be
it's
all
the start
our
of the
platforms.
conversation. It's the start of the conversation, right? It's
maybe it needs to be something that's on. Maybe it's something that needs to be on FBN, Vince, and then all of us can chime in.
I do posting on FBN, but nobody watches, so it's okay. Much better. But anyway, speaking of
go, Tony, absolutely, mate. We need stringers all over the place. We're gonna have to raise a bit more money for a few more T-shirts because you got the last one, brother. But we might have to organise a stringer T-shirt. Yeah.
At least I know I can get them printed. Now, it's 7:03 and we've been gas bagging for an hour already.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, maybe we better do the obligatories. Don't forget to buy a raffle ticket, folks. It's only $2. It would really help us pay a few bills. We've got another. Oh, in fact, I've got another internet and phone bill that's due right now. I'm going to have to pay that. And I was lucky enough to go and need new brakes on the Suzuki the other day, which I thought, okay, that'd be great, until it needed new rotors as well. Not so great. And that was the same week it needed a service. So, the little service station had a good week out of me last week. So we are needing to replace some of our fundage. And if you can help, it would be gratefully received. We'd love to have you as a member at vofhq.com. You can click the membership button, and for as little as $2, you can become a member. But if you would like to spend $2 and have a chance at winning $750, just go to merch.vofhq.com and click on the Sanctuary $750 link up the top there, and you'll be able to buy tickets, just like Christine did earlier today. After she had sent me the money for her Byron Bob's, she said, "Oh, do I send the money for you here, the same bank account for the tickets?" I said, no, please go here. So she emailed me back and said, "Got it right, all sorted." So she's got 10 tickets in the draw. You could have 2. You can buy as many as 20 in the draw for $2 each and $750, or one of these could be yours. Although this is an empty one, we will fill it up with silver this time around because we promised to. So that'll come with an ounce of silver. We do have some gold that we'll be able to put back up as a prize shortly too. Don't forget that. Vince and I will have to have a bit of a rethink on how we were going to spread these out a bit, but we'll see. There might be something interesting coming up. And Vince, I've forgot to ask you privately, so I'm going to ask you publicly. I've had a request from people to see whether or not we can get something like this, pardon me, in a 1, 2, or 5 piece build for 1 ounce coins.
I'll have to get a couple of 1 ounce rounds and measure them up. I don't have any in stock at the moment, so
Right.
That's because I keep giving them away as Christmas presents.
Yeah, well, that's what I've been doing. I might have. Oh, I know I've got a couple of Ainsley rounds here I can send you, so we could figure it out.
Yeah, no, we'll work it out. Well, we do need to get this off and running. I mean, I'm starving hungry. You look like your eyes are falling out of your head.
They are. I've been up since 4:30 this morning. And I've got a bit of chicken to have for dinner tonight. That'll be exciting.
That's great. So we're going to leave you not quite leave you. Carl will come back after this, but we have a little bit of comedy for you. And it involves Trump and Zelensky.
Now, Vince, I've got to teach you, mate. You don't set people up telling them we're about to give you a joke. All right?
Okay, sorry.
You don't never set the joke up saying I'm setting up a joke.
All right. Okay, we're not setting up a joke. You happy now?
Yeah. What we are setting up is a meeting. Trump and Zelensky got together. They had a bit of a chat.
Indeed. But I do have to preface this. AI is fantastic.
I'll teach him how to set up a joke.
That was yours. Yeah. We thought that baggie belonged to Hunter. You know, I think the Secret Service probably still has it somewhere.
I have been stealing the money.
I'm sorry, what's that now?
I must to speak honestly. I steal many of USA dollars to Ukraine. Millions. Some dollars for some oligarchs also. Some for American bureaucrats also.
Well, we know that, but why are you telling me this?
Because, Mr. Trump, if you end war, we cannot steal any more money. We must continue war.
No, the war must end. Your people are dying, Zelensky. They're dying.
But I want to steal more money. What do you want? Fellatio? I can do it.
No, I don't want fellatio. No.
Are you sure? I did for Biden.
Okay, that is what we call oversharing. Look, there's nothing you have that I want. You're not going to convince me to keep this war going. You don't have the cards.
I not play cards.
No, I know you're not literally playing cards. It's a metaphor. It's like I'm playing 4D chess and you're playing checkers.
No, I not play checkers. There is no checkerboard, you see.
Okay, let's try this. I am in the driver's seat, okay? Do you understand that expression?
No, but we are not in car.
No, you're right. We're not in a car. That's true.
Listen, Mr. Trump, I am actor/comedian. I crave attention. Since the start of war, I get worshipped by presidents. I'm worshipped by Hollywood. If war ends, no more attention, no more worship. With all due respect, Mr. Trump, this war must last forever.
I tell you what, if you agree to end this war, we will do a remake of Friends, and you can play Ukrainian Chandler Bing. How does that sound?
Oh, I love the Friends. This is favorite show of me. I am such a Monica.
Fantastic. Okay, so let's sign the thing, and then I'll go show you the room where Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky did it.
Oh, yes, this is funny, because I just say I'm such a Monica. Maybe we will go in a room and you can be Bill Clinton, and I will be Monica. Yes?
You know what? Forget the room. Let's just sign the document. Does anyone have a pen? Phil? Where's Phil? I need a pen. Somebody give me a damn pen.
I thought that was great. AI, it truly is a wonderful thing.
You would think that was real, wouldn't you? When you look at it, look at the wording, the mouth movements, everything. It was also so true. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I want to thank you again for everything that you do. And thanks for being part of the show again this evening. And that is about the cue to give you... Oh, he's getting creative now. He's doing slow-mos. Thank you, buddy. The Waving Wonder is off for a good weekend. I hope you have a great weekend, folks. If you are going off to do something with your friends, with your family, having a get-together, celebrating, or maybe you're just praying for the recovery of someone in hospital. There is a young man at the moment who is very close to my daughter and me. I've known him all his life. He suffers from something called Apert syndrome. And yesterday he went through something like a 9-hour surgery where they rebroke his skull, they removed his face, they rebuilt and broke his jaws, face repositioned everything, and generally tried to, make him look more like a normal person. Apert syndrome, if you look that up, you'll see that these kids have suffered a chromosomal disorder. And when this young bloke was born, he had a web between his fingers and toes. His shoulder blades are actually, instead of being the way yours and mine are, his are upside down, which means he can't raise his arms higher than his shoulders, sort of thing. He's got problems with his jaw. His eyes are in different places on his head. And this is what all this surgery was due to fix. It was done in Adelaide at the cranial facial unit at the Flinders Hospital. And they are the preeminent cranial facial unit in the world. And they teach the surgeries that they perform there world leading, and they teach others around the world how to perform. So he's in the best of hands, but he did have a pretty rough night. They got him out of surgery, and he didn't come out of the anaesthetic terribly well. So if you could put Declan in your prayers tonight, I would greatly appreciate it. And if you are heading out on the roads, folks, the dickheads are always out there. It looks like we've had a bit of rain coming our way. I know that because the skies look like a crisscross board. A game of noughts and crosses could have been played on the skies above me here today. So I expect the weekend to be pretty shitty around my part of the world. I hope it's not near you. Have yourself a good one. Watch out for the dickheads on the roads. Thank you for your support. We love you very much.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's rock!